Meet Debbie Matthews, partner Richard, and dogs Widget and Gizmo. For 7 years, these little terriers were perfect angels, until they were stolen. Without father Bruce Forsyth, Debbie wouldn't have seen her dogs again.
If somebody has seen something, please get in touch.
But now they're back, they've changed beyond all recognition.
Yeah, that's loud.
Can Victoria straighten things out?
This is nuts.
When it isn't just the dogs that are traumatized.
This is almost our last hope.
For the first 7 years of their little lives, Gizmo and his bigger twin brother Widget were the best behaved Yorkies in North London.
Well, Widget and Gizmo were just well-behaved, nice dogs, something that I took for granted.
But then came May the 2nd, 2006, and their little lives were turned upside down.
I pulled into the car park, went into the shop. I left the dogs in the car. It never crossed my mind that it would be the wrong thing to do.
While Debbie was in the shop, a van pulled up. One man jumped out. He smashed the car window, napped the dogs, and then sped off in the van.
I saw the window had been smashed, and I couldn't believe that the dogs weren't in the car.
Most owners never see their pilfered pooches again. But luckily, Debbie had a secret weapon. Dad.
You try to say everything will be all right, even if you don't believe it, because I couldn't believe that, you know, the car had been broken into and just the two dogs snatched.
Dog napping.
It wasn't long before Bruce's fame ensured their story made national news.
You know, a lot of people may say, they're only a couple of dogs. They are a part of Debbie's family.
Within days of the broadcast, Debbie was reunited with her pets.
I must be one of the luckiest people in the whole wide world, and without my father, I wouldn't have got my dogs back.
But Debbie's luck ended there. Although her dogs had come back, they weren't the calm canines she remembered.
Schizophrenic is the best description.
Since their ordeal, they've changed from little angels to marauding mutts. They now hate strangers, particularly those with dogs.
Gizmo just wants to kill them.
The dogs also make any visitors to the house feel very unwelcome.
Thank you very much, sorry about the dogs.
These tiny terriers with big attitudes even go wild when people just pass the house. Debbie's solution? Shut out the world. Partner Richard's sick of the situation.
It's become an absolute nightmare. We live in constant gloom. They hate strangers, they hate fast movement, they loathe children, they don't like men in hats. The list is endless. It's actually probably shorter to give you a list of things that they do like.
I feel that this has changed my life completely, and it's taken over my life now. And whereas pet owning is a joy, I absolutely adore it, but I'm in a bad place right now.
With over 12 years dog training experience behind her, Victoria Stilwell's on her way to get to the heart of the matter.
Dog napping is a cruel crime which has become increasingly common, and it's traumatic both for the dog and the owner. Dogs remember bad things that have happened to them, and if you don't take the time to find out what's upsetting them and deal with it fast, you can have a whole host of problems.
As far as Debbie's dogs are concerned, things have got out of hand. Time for Victoria to observe what life's like behind the closed blinds.
Wait. Hello. Wow. Wow. I don't need to ask what the problem is. Oh. Well, that's a nice little love bite. Yes. Okay. Oh. Whoa, excuse me. So, when he does jump up at you,
I pick him up because it's the only way to actually stop him from barking.
Okay. Do you mind if I open the blinds just to see what the reaction would be if somebody walked past? So if somebody walked past. Gizmo and Widget are clearly anxious because they've been through a traumatic experience, but this is madness. Debbie has turned her home into a virtual prison, and if they're going to bark at strangers within the security of their own home, how on earth are they going to cope outside?
Time to find out. First off, it's back to the scene of the crime, the car. It isn't long before Gizmo and Widget spy passers-by and give it full throttle.
If you go just down that end and turn right, you'll be okay.
Okay.
Right, okay.
Yeah, that's loud. How does it make you feel when they react like that?
Well, it just brings the whole thing back, because they wouldn't be reacting like that if they hadn't been stolen.
Do you blame yourself?
Yes, I do, totally, because if I hadn't left them in the car, it would never have happened. Stop, come on. It's okay. It's okay.
The car is the place where the dogs were stolen from, so they're obviously going to be traumatized when people approach the car. But actually, Debbie is not helping matters, because when they are barking, she's telling them to calm down, it's okay, and actually she's reinforcing their anxiety.
They're bad in the car. Now Victoria wants to see what they're like on the streets. Answer, worse.
Not good.
Things don't get any better when Debbie and Richard try and relax with a coffee.
It's okay. It's okay now. It's gone.
Is this something you like to do? Come and sit in a cafe?
Yes, before we used to love it, but we have to go out really early in the morning to have breakfast when there's hardly anybody around and sort of escape.
So you're constantly not enjoying your coffee, you're looking around, watching out for potential problems.
No, stay. No.
A chat with Richard reveals the extent of the problems and Debbie's part in them.
Affected Debbie absolutely amazingly. She was in shock for the week that it happened. Then after that, she's lost confidence. She doesn't like being in London anymore.
Richard's so worried about the situation, he's beginning to think a holiday home they've got in Spain may offer the best solution.
Well, we've seriously considered living in Spain full-time. I would commute to London. To me, it would solve a lot of problems. The dogs are happy there. They run around, they get the exercise they need, and Debbie's relaxed there. And to me, the most important thing is that we're all happy and we live a happy life.
Victoria's seen enough. It's time for them to sit down and face some home truths.
I can't imagine what it must have felt like for you to know that your dogs had been stolen. But I believe you are still going through that traumatic experience.
Right.
And what drives me crazy is that those who stole your dogs have made your dogs anxious and have made your life hell. And that's why I want them to stop having such an effect on you. Because why should those people affect your life so badly now that you cannot let go? Why do you blame yourself?
Well, because if I hadn't have gone there that day, that wouldn't have happened.
Don't blame yourself anymore, because I don't think until you get rid of the guilt, you can ever change.
No.
You are inadvertently reinforcing your dog's stressed out behaviour by doing things such as picking them up when Gizmo is barking. It's about taking back control, because when you take back control, your dogs will have some control. Believe me, it's not so much about working with the dogs. It is more about working with you.
Okay. Well, it's quite interesting because you get rid of one lot of guilt about leaving them in the car, but now I'm having to deal with another load of guilt about it's me being the problem, so I'm not very happy about it. I feel pretty bad.
I think that was really hard for Debbie to hear, that it was about her. But it's the first step into forgiving herself and for moving on.
Victoria's dealing with the aftermath of a dog napping, which has affected Bruce Forsyth's daughter as much as her Yorkies. Things are so bad now that Debbie and her partner Richard are even thinking of moving to Spain to start again.
Debbie is blaming herself for everything and living with the guilt, and that's what's holding her back from moving on.
Day one of the training, but Victoria's not starting with the dogs.
Okay. I'm going to introduce you to my friend here, who represents the scum that stole your dogs. And so what I want to do is for you just to hit it and say, I will not be a victim. You do not have power over me. You will not get away with it. Get your aggression out on this, and then we start. How does that feel for you to do that?
Surprisingly good. I'm surprised. I can take on anyone now.
Yeah. Careful, Richard.
Now Debbie's released some of her bottled-up anxiety, Victoria wants to let the light back into her life. For the past few months, they've been living in darkness to protect the dogs from the outside world.
If you keep your dogs in a box while they're here, and they don't see things going in front of the house, when they go outside, it's so much more stimulating for them and they will react more negatively. For now, can we just start by just opening these blinds slightly so that we let a bit of light in? Okay. Oh, it's light. Much better.
But with light comes chaos. Since they were dog-napped, Gizmo and Widget have gone nuts every time someone comes near the house. The dogs are even worse when a visitor rings the doorbell. Will Victoria ever be able to tame them?
I don't mind dogs barking when somebody rings on the doorbell. In fact, I think it's good, it's protection. However, when I want them to stop barking, I want them to stop barking. All right.
Victoria shows Debbie and Richard what's required to shut the dogs up.
Thank you. Richard, thank you. Sit. Very good boys, very good. Oh, that was so clever. Thank you.
That is amazing.
Thank you.
Now it's Richard's turn. By repeatedly ringing the doorbell and rewarding good behaviour with treats, Gizmo and Widget will eventually think of the sound of the doorbell as a good thing.
Good, Richard, that was brilliant.
By the time Debbie has a go, the dogs are responding well.
Excellent.
Sit.
And she's beginning to
Sit.
take charge.
Good boys.
With things going well, Victoria feels confident enough to move on to the next stage.
This is the ultimate test. I have a stranger outside. I don't mind them barking at strangers if you want them to get away from the door, but when you accept somebody into your house, you're saying that person's okay. Don't bark, all right? So this is going to be hard, but I'm going to try and control it as much as possible, okay? Thank you. Sit. Good. Good. Stay. Sorry if Widget moves. Stay. Hi, come in. Stay. Up, up, up. Come in, don't look at the dog. Sit and stay. Now, the person comes in with a treat and a squeaky toy. So actually, that stranger coming in, that's okay, because they come with really nice things. If you could throw the toy to Gizmo and the piece of chicken over to Widget, perfect.
I feel speechless. I can't believe what I've just seen.
I just don't know what to say.
It's not always going to stay like that, though, I have to tell you. It's not always going to stay like that.
No, but I can see that we can do something.
Yeah.
I can see.
Controlling the dogs in the house is one thing, but trying to do it on the street is another. On the street, there are people with dogs, and Gizmo in particular really hates dogs.
see what his reaction is like if we can do some distraction techniques as a dog goes past.
Okay.
Right, we've just got a dog that's going to walk past, and I'll show you, all right?
Okay.
Let him see the dogs.
Instead of his negative reaction, Gizmo's far more interested in the fluorescent green squeaky toy than going for passing dogs.
Don't let it get to the point where he is because it's too late. Allow him to look at the dog and then squeeze the toy. That's it.
Now
Squeeze,
it's
squeeze.
Debbie's turn.
What's this?
There.
What's this? What's this?
Good, good.
What's this? What's this?
That's
What have
it.
we got here?
Good. Oh my gosh, that's
Good boy.
brilliant.
Good boy.
If you find your dog's Achilles heel, and in Gizmo's case is a squeaky toy, you can do anything. He's more focused on the squeaky toy than he is on the dog going past. Soon he's going to be associating dogs with good things.
Before Victoria leaves Debbie and Richard, she wants to sort out all the barking in the car. The answer is very simple. These.
This is a special travel carrier that's collapsible. It's not a cage that's going to stop your dogs from getting stolen.
Right.
But being in this den-like space, they're not going to be able to see people as easily, but also it will be comforting for them.
Right.
That will give them confidence and lessen their anxiety.
Victoria leaves Debbie and Richard to practice training Widget and Gizmo by themselves. It's vital they start seeing results fast, as the trauma both Debbie and the dogs have suffered after being dog-napped could still drive them all to a quieter life in Spain. So how do you prevent your pooch being pinched?
Never ever leave your dog tied up outside a shop. If you let your dog off the lead, make sure you never lose sight of him.
Like all thieves, these opportunist ratbags want to make top dollar selling on their swag, so they're mostly interested in pedigree pets.
If someone is showing an unusual amount of interest in your dog, they may be scoping a theft. So play down your dog's value by saying it's old, ill, or neutered. Finally, make sure that your dog is wearing a secure collar and tag with your phone number on it and never the dog's name. If a dog napper calls your dog to him and it responds, then no one will suspect that your dog has been stolen.
If your mutt does go missing, the best way to get it back is microchipping.
Microchipping is a quick and easy process. It's a little device the size of a rice grain that's injected in between the shoulder blades of your pet. And it has a unique barcode that's linked with the client's details.
With the rightful owner's details stored onto a national database, a simple scan by the vet will quickly identify a bogus owner.
At the moment, it's not compulsory for vets to scan dogs when they first enter the surgery, but if all vets routinely scan dogs on arrival and owners were asked to verify addresses, then we could see a dramatic reduction of dogs ending up in the wrong hands.
In recent years, dogs have increasingly been used as status symbols, making them big targets for criminals.
Dog theft is rising in the UK and every owner should be mindful of it. Keep your dog secure and within sight at all times and make sure you get your dog microchipped.
Meanwhile, in London, Debbie and Richard are putting Victoria's training to effect with their two traumatized Yorkies who were themselves victims of a dog napping.
Thank you. Do you mind if I give you a toy just so you can give that to Gizmo when you come in? Yeah, good boy.
As Widget and Gizmo's anxiety levels drop, Debbie's confidence grows by the day.
Because of the training and because I'm more confident, the dogs are more confident, and that means that I can go out for more walks, I can go and have a coffee, I can invite people round, and it's just much easier. It's much happier for everybody.
Debbie seems pleased, but will Victoria be impressed? 3 weeks ago, she was confronted with two snarly and aggressive terriers whose kidnapping experience had left them and their owners so traumatized they were planning an escape to Spain. Now Victoria's back to find out if things have changed. The first question is, will she even get through the front door?
Thank you. Thank you. Hello. Hello. How are you? Have you met Widget and Gizmo?
The new Widget and Gizmo.
Oh my goodness. That is absolutely incredible.
They will bark, but what's happening now is that I can stop them. It's not a worry anymore that they're going to bark or they're going to just go mad. Having the control back is just incredible.
And Richard, have you seen a change in Debbie?
Yes, I've seen a big change in Debbie as the dogs have relaxed and as your confidence has come back.
Good. You've changed our lives. Thank you.
Good. I've got to ask the question, haven't I? Your question you love. Are you going to move full-time to Spain or not?
No.
In fact, we've actually invited a few people around for a not going to Spain party. So you can see how the dogs are behaving with lots of people around as well. But it's nice to tell everybody that we're going to stay.
Professional there.
How are you? Okay.
Yeah, look at that.
It's great to see the family so relaxed and so happy. And the dogs, they don't care. They're just playing with the toys or they're in their beds. And there's loads of people here, they're just not reacting to them. Debbie is now being confident, she's being a leader, she's taking charge, and that confidence has gone right down to her dogs. And you know what? They're not going to go live in Spain.
Debbie is now so pleased with the progress, she wants her dad to see the results for himself.
All right. Oh, bless him. Has he had another beauty treatment?
He has.
Come on, Widget. There you go.
Come on, in we go.
That's it, turning into a dog's home, this. Okay. Good. So they're trained now.
Well, this is it.
So this is the ultimate test. Because when I tap dance normally, you know, not that I've ever tap danced normally, but when I tap dance, the little one particularly goes crazy. Right. So we'll see, okay, we'll see. Here we go. I think they need more training. Much more training. 24 hours a day.
I told you they were good.
Yeah, they're good dogs. I never ever thought they'd be good dogs. Didn't they do well?